you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
So last week you downloaded this spreadsheet right here, and you should have this open by now. If you're stuck, get someone in the class to help you. So what we want to do is we're building a spreadsheet here that we're going to put a couple simple formulas in here, and you need to know some math in order to make this work. So the way that we want this spreadsheet to work, and I'm only going to get you started and you're going to see if you can finish, is we want someone to be able to come to cell A4, type in how old they are, how many years they've been alive, okay, and then how many months it's been since their last birthday. So for example, if someone had their birthday in August and they turned 11, we would say that they were 11 years old and 1 month, and we're going to use that as our example. So what we need to do is we're going to do some calculations here. We're going to put it so that when someone enters in their age, years and months, and if you wanted to really be tricky and or be more specific, you could add another field here, which is days. If someone could remember how many days since their since the last month since their birthday, because we're already counting months. So how many days from a full month you could put there if you wanted. But what it should do is when someone puts that in, it should calculate how many years they've been alive, how many months they've been alive, okay, how many weeks they've been alive, how many days they've been alive, how many hours, minutes, and seconds. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a formula in here. This one's real easy. Someone's been alive 11 years. How many years have they been alive? 11. So what we're going to do is we're going to say equals, but we don't want to put 11 because we want this spreadsheet to be flexible. The age, that A4, is going to be a variable. So if someone were to put in that they've been alive 30 years, it should look at that value, not 11. So really what we want to do is we want to put in a value of A4. So whatever is typed in cell A4 will appear in cell A8. We could type equals A4, or an easier method is to simply click on the cell that you want it to equal. So we're going to say equals A4. I'm going to hit enter, and you'll see it populates with 11. Now, what we need to do is we need to be a little more clever here. We're going to say equals, because that's how we always start a formula. If we know how many years someone has been alive, how many months, how can we convert? Really, what we're trying to do is we're trying to convert years to months. All right? So we are going to say someone's been alive A4 years, all right? And how many months are there in 1 year? Think about it. Okay, there's 12. Good. So we're going to say times. Now, the times symbol that you might use in math is an X. We don't use an X. That's a letter on a spreadsheet. So what you're looking for is the times symbol, and that is shift and then the little asterisk above the 8. Or if you go over to the number pad, you can see above the 9 is a multiplication symbol. So we want to multiply that by 12. And we get an answer. But that's not exactly accurate. We need to go back into that cell and fix it. What's wrong with it? Well, we've only said how many, we only calculated how many months they've been alive based on this value. We didn't add this value. So what we really need to do is we need to go here and change our formula. Well, before we put our formula here, but now it's gone. So what we need to do is we need to come right up here. This is called our formula bar. And now what we need to do is we need to put plus what? We want it to add the month right here. Okay? Now, you might be thinking about order of operations. It's already in the right order of operations because it's always going to do the multiplication first. If you wanted to, you could put the parentheses around to get, if you ever needed to specify the proper order of operations. So now you can see it's no longer 132, it's 133. So I'm going to give you one more, and then you're going to go from there. This one's pretty easy. Now, at this point, we're not going to look back to the age because we've already got the age converted to months. So now what we want to do is we want to convert how many weeks someone's been alive if they've been alive 11 years and 1 month, which is a little more tricky of a calculation. It's much easier just to say, to calculate how many weeks someone's been alive when we know they've been alive 133 months. How many months are there or how many weeks are there in a month? Think about it. 4. So we're going to say equals. And remember, we're not putting 133. The whole idea is when you're using a spreadsheet, you are relying on variables. So our variable in this case is A9. So we're going to say equals A9. And then remember what the time symbol is. Times what? That's right, 4. Okay, because there's 4 weeks in a month. So now we can say if someone's 11 years and 1 month old, they've been alive 532 weeks. So now what I want you to do is I want you to say how many days someone's been alive. Then I want you to think about how many hours someone's been alive, how many minutes someone's been alive, and how many seconds someone's been alive. See if you can complete that spreadsheet. And then once you get it complete, try to play around with some of the different values of people that you know in your life, your parents' age, your grandparents' age, a little brother, sister's age, and you'll really be able to show off your math skills if you were able to tell them, you've been alive about this many seconds. Try that. See if you can finish this, and when you're done, make sure you save the file.